Hi there, everyone. My name is Bruce Swartz. I'm from Montreal, Quebec, in the country of Canada. I'm a researcher and I study in ufology. I study in astronomy, and I'm not even going to mention the other fields that I'm trying to understand. But I thank you all. And hey, thanks for taking the time to subscribe, you guys. So, what is this spraying on the surface of the moon? Probably hiding these lights roaming around. It's not hard. It's really simple when you see the research that I'm showing. Straight up simply lights on the surface that are making smoke trails, and they are roaming around inside of what already seems to be a heavy, thick, dense smoke. Why are we seeing patches in many areas? As boring as it may be for some, this is Bianchini Crater, look at that. Those patches, blurry patches that I'm getting like all over the moon, it's because somebody there's movement or there's smoke movement. Shadows that you see here, the lights touching the surface, proving straight up that those UFOs are so pressed up to the surface that we see the lights on the surface. Imagine a large UFO like this traveling over Earth, and for your whole town at night would brighten up as this UFO is swooping by over the surface. It's absolutely crazy. You know what it reminds me of? This is in the water. It's not the moon. A light in the bottom of water. That's exactly what those UFOs look like. Let's invert it just for the fun of it. Isn't it crazy? You never know. There could be a clear ocean over the moon. We're just talking theory. We're just talking to talk here, but seriously, I analyze when I look at the moon, and it always seems different. Look at all the pieces inside of the craters that they say that the craters are coming apart. If there's no oxygen, why would anything come apart? No oxygen, no deterioration, you would think. And those the solar rays hitting all those electrons that are hugging the surface of the moon and the Earth are oxidizing the Earth and the moon, so the surfaces should not be brown. Recently found hematite on the moon. They'll be talking about that too. They say the moon is beginning to rust. We'll be documenting that. Is that a ship? This is beside Sirius, and I'm serious. 3 dots with a bright light in the center that all those lights lit up at the same time, the stars on the outskirts there. So who's saying that these 3 lights are not the 3 lights that we just saw? It's pretty scary. 3 lights following themselves simultaneously on the moon that I've showed you before. And this, for some that's like, what is this? Well, it's the exposure taken down. Looking at a UFO, do this. Watch. Tell me if it's the sun, okay? Seriously. Boom. You even see the shape moving inside. If you have a big enough screen, you'll see as it moves. And the direction, of course, that trail of smoke, because now the UFO is lit up. When they light up, it's either the smokes on the surface that are moving around, or it's the smokes from those crafts, whatever they may be. Yep, structures all over the surface. Real built lines and structures which really fascinate me. Could be liquids going through there. Whether it's ancient or not, it's still like beyond incredible, the fact that we're seeing that up there. This is all around the Aristarchus Plateau. So don't wonder why no one's landing there. If you see a surface like that, not much distance, not more than 3-4 miles of distance to roam on a flat surface. Aside from what you see here, it's all hilltops and mountainous terrain and ridges and holes and great depths that you see. They say that the moon's depths in the holes, hidden areas, they can go down as far as 10,000, 11,000 feet. Now that, I don't know if you know it, is pretty damn deep. It would be pretty cold down there, and there would definitely be some ice down there. So we see layers of structuring, natural or not, over top of one another. Don't forget, there's ways that a volcano explodes, and there's ways that, the lava could have traveled if there were volcanoes on the moon over the surface. But when you see these objects, it doesn't relate to anything volcanic-wise. Anyways, it doesn't make any sense how straight lines can go up mountains and descend into ridges and remain in straight lines. It makes no sense. So, of course, I'm using common sense to try to decide which areas are constructed. But either way, just showing you this around the plateau is amazing because this is all the area around Aristarchus crater, which I've never seen before, and I've never even seen NASA show it. And what are all these balls or lines that are going by? It looks like a ball, or obviously a sphere, because when we see things far away, edges and corners, they get very roundish, right? So even though we can't see the shapes, exact shapes and forms of these structures, it's still incredible that there's that much on the surface. Why didn't NASA ever show us all those bumps on the surface? That would have been incredible to see. I'm positive they could have done it 60 years ago if they were flying, on the moon or that close to the moon. Seriously. Here it is, the plateau. Last image. Hard to see. Yeah, it's blurry, but in reality, nobody sees the surface because it's too bright. But worked on, this is what the surface is, the real straight up surface of the moon. Let's clarify this area at the bottom of the plateau, the Aristarchus plateau. Look at that. Whether they're constructed or not, natural or not, that's not what I'm trying to prove. I'm just trying to show the surface, which is pretty cool, because obviously when things are built in a line, cutting off, Copernicus crater that you're looking at. So I clarified that corner as compared to usually the whole other side that I'm able to see, because I brought the exposure down, etc. And more lights on the surface of the moon. And what are those lights? And this, don't tell me that it's not something coming out of the end of something dark that we can't see. You literally see the flame coming out. Oh, we're going to see it in reverse. This is nothing. Look at it. Watch it reappear. It's actually pretty incredible. No filter here, by the way. Exposure taken right down. This was a fire that appeared in the image on the moon, and it was in the darkness, actually. Look at this one, eh? Is it a storm going by? Because it's a cloud over the surface. That is definite. Probably even a shadow underneath. Look at this thing. It's incredible. And again, it's like an elongated sort of cloud-like object, or just cloud going by. But there's none anywhere else. I mean, this is something that's spontaneous. It's not like they're all over the moon, right? When I show something, it's not something that appears all the time in my footage. It's like this. Watch this. As it's going away, you could clearly see that it's descending and that the smoke is rising to the right. It's incredible. Here, a light that changes directions with light that appears beside it. It fascinated me when I saw this, because there's just no way in heck that the sun is doing this, or, natural objects. And you see this object with the red light at the back moving slowly on the surface. And now I'm starting to wonder, are they on the surface? Some of these objects that we're seeing, because they're really close. Right here, Aristarchus crater, right inside where the lights are. You're not going to tell me that that's sunlight, because sunlight would reflect everywhere. Do you understand? Basically, my friends, that bright light on the right here that you see on the right, everything that's white is hiding, I'm going to take a guess, 2,000 UFOs. That is how they hide. They hide inside of a light. It's natural camouflage. I'm telling you. And look at the shadow touching the surface. Literally. And changing areas. And where are they going to? They're going to those bright areas. A UFO is bright, so if it's going to remain illuminated and be stationed on the moon, you can be sure as hell it's going to have to be in a bright area. And it's just like natural camouflage. No way to see them. Until they take off, of course. Along the Terminator line, we have Copernicus, Eratosthenes, Archimedes crater, Plato crater. Let's zoom into Plato crater to see all the details around it. So we're looking for browns because the moon apparently is starting to rust. This is with the exposure taken down, and we're going to descend it a lot more because Mare Serenitatis over to the right, you'll see in the next frames, it is very brown. And throughout the year, I'm noticing greens and browns that change a lot. Or it's possibly the greens changing to brown too, so I want to document that. Check it out. So check it out. This, I stopped it here. We'll say it's an image. We're going to descend the exposure till we start to see. We're going to lose the edge here, of course, along the Terminator line. But look at the greens and only a little bit of brown inside under Plato Crater and around the Apennine Mountains. So there is brown on the moon, right, at all times. But is it getting browner? Well, we're going to document that. Reds in the bottom of Mare Serenitatis, and over here, the right, browns. So it changes throughout the year. Greens here. And again, we're just starting to document them because, speaking of trolls, you're never going to guess Ace of Space. Yeah, you don't care, right? But guess what? He emailed me again. Look. Yep. Michel Chechny, merci. Thanks, brother. If it wasn't for my amazing community, this channel wouldn't even exist. Thanks a whole bunch, everyone. I really appreciate it. Michel Chechny's having problems reaching us on the live stream. Sorry about that, bro, for trying to fix the problem.
This is Houston. Say again, please.